Hello, creative people! It's Sherry with Dragon Wagon Studio. Thank you for joining me on my channel today. In this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to move away from resin a little bit, but not really, because I'm still going to use it. But today I'm going to try my hand at making a wreath. I recently cropped some of my bergamot and mugwort in my backyard that I grow. And I have a ton of these sprigs. So I was gonna throw them in the compost. I'm like, you know, there's a couple projects I wanna do with some organic material. And these are still somewhat pliable. So I'm gonna try making a wreath with those. I've never made one before, so I have no idea what I'm doing. This idea really originated from another idea. I found this mold at the dollar store and I thought it was really cute and I wanted to do something for Mabon. It's a pagan holiday. And I was gonna make some leaf lights, but when I bought these lights, they're a little too close together and these molds are a little too big. So once I got a couple on there, they're gonna be clanking around. So I'm hemming and hawing on what I should do with them. And then, you know, everything just kind of played together. I found this at the dollar store and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna use those sprigs. I'll still use these lights. I'll make a couple of these leaves. I'm only gonna do 5 of them. So I'll do the 3 pumpkins and the 2 leaves. And yeah, I'll wrap all those twigs around this and see where I can get. I also have some black and orange fake maple leaves I'll wrap around in here and see what I can come up with. Really great fall project to do. So I think where I'm going to start is getting these poured and curing because I'm going to have to drill some holes and fit them in the lights. And while that's curing, I'll start with these sprig wraps. So yeah, I think it will be kind of cool. I might spray paint them black too. I don't know. It's going to be like a slash between fall and Halloween because that's coming up and that is super awesome. So without further ado, let's get some resin made up and get pouring these. Oh, and just so you know, I was on Amazon the other day and I found these exact same molds, 3 for $20. I got this at Dollarama for $1.50. So shop around, guys. Check your dollar store. I find all kinds of silicone stuff there. This is all at the dollar store. You can use this for resin. They're originally for baking, but I'm always constantly on a hunt for silicone anything to make resin anything. So don't waste your money buying this silly stuff on Amazon. You can get it cheaper off AliExpress, Temu, dollar store. Start hunting there for these things rather than buying into inflation. You want prices to go down? Stop buying it. Force the prices down. All right, so I'm just getting all this lint and fuzzies out of my mold here. And tape is a nice way to do that. I will also wipe it too, just to keep it nice and clean. And these are nice deep molds because they are baking molds, which is gonna work perfect because I need at least this depth, which I haven't measured yet. It's probably around 1/4 inch. Not sure what these light bulbs are. I'll bust up my caliper later. But yeah, so I want enough room that I'm gonna insert this bulb into the mold and have enough girth around it so I don't crack the resin when I'm drilling. So these are perfect for that. Nice and thick. And I think since I'm gonna do this so beautiful, I think I'm gonna paint some mica powder textures on here. So let's get some golds and some oranges, some yellows. That red's pretty bright. There's a bronze. It's a bright red. Is that ever? Oh, that gem red I used in something else the other day. That was really nice. Wine red. That's another yellow. All right. Now what I'm going to do with these is mix these with, I'm going to use, gesso works really nice, but I don't want a matte. So I'm going to use this Liquitex iridescent medium. It's an acrylic medium. And I'm going to mix my mica powders in with that and then paint on here. I've done other videos showing how to do this acrylic mediums and mica powders video. If you haven't watched that, check it out. There's a lot of awesome tips in there. The foliage I have for this stuff is kind of glittery, so mica powders are a perfect complement to that. All right, here's some orange. I'm just gonna go ahead and just paint some of these. I'll fast forward through a bunch of it, but I'm just gonna put in some little highlights. And then I'm going to be using alcohol inks for the rest of it. It's actually turning out kind of grainy, which is actually a good thing. So now I will get that organic texture of the pumpkin. And when you're painting 3D objects like this, you're kind of painting backwards at this point. So you got to think of it, you know, you got to do your light colors and your highlights first, because that's going to be what stands out first. And then you go backwards to your darks. So I'm going to be using my light colors first. So I'll bust out this yellow and I'll throw some highlights in here. Like in the middle of the leaves, we'll have some highlights. And this is a good way you can layer your mica powders in colors, just like you were a painting. I'll put some highlights on this little pumpkin. And I'm kind of painting in the direction the organic material flows in. So when you're looking at a pumpkin, we have these lines going down and through the pumpkin. And if you're actually looking at a real pumpkin, the textures flow down with those lines. So I'm making sure that my brush strokes are going in those directions as well. That way it's going to give it a more natural look, even though it's not a real pumpkin, but you can still go for naturalism in three-dimensional objects, even if it's just a representation. So maybe I'll use this yellow on this other pumpkin for highlights. And it's just that easy to mix and paint with mica powders with acrylic mediums. I've tested quite a few different brands and found out which ones work better. And yeah, the Liquitex and the Gessos work quite nice. I'm not totally filling these in. I am filling these in with color, with alcohol inks. So these are just little highlight pops that are just going to give that extra three-dimensional look. You know, those alcohol inks are going to show up through this. If you want these to show up more opaque, do a couple layers, let them dry, and then do a layer in between. All right, let's make some resin. Alrighty. Got my resin all mixed up. I picked out 3 colors. In the Tim Holtz, I heard tale that the Pinata inks fade really bad. I am currently doing an alcohol ink test, so stay tuned for that video in the future. And I'm testing out such features, such as UV resistance. But until I have finished that test, I am going to be using the Tim Holtz Ranger inks in Valencia, Crimson, and Dandelion, sticking with the fall colors. And I'm just going to kind of divvy this up. I mixed up 100 mils. I don't know if it's going to be enough. So I busted out my caliper, and these are almost a centimeter in diameter. That's 4.9. I got 4.8 millimeters, so that's almost a half a centimeter. So that gives me a good idea on how thick I'm going to need these. So if I'm at least a centimeter thick, at least, I'm going to have enough to drill through it. This is also a great way to find out what drill bit I'm going to need. So now I have an actual factual size to work with. So I just wanted to show you guys that, how handy dandy these are. I got this off Amazon. I think it was like $9. Super cheap. So it's a handy dandy tool to have if you don't have one. Start off with 5 drops and see how bright that is. Just looking to color it. You still want that light to shine through. And that light is orange, so I'm going to stick with the yellow, orange, and reds. And that should be bright enough. That's very bright, actually. I'm just going to kind of randomly pour these in. Let's do this guy in yellow. Some yellow in this guy. Go over the yellow around the leaves. Oh, I'll turn that green like neon. That one's more dark and red. Alright, I will definitely be adding some more. Let's see if these little orange lights will pick up these different pigments. If not, well, I guess they'll all just mash together and be like a reddish orange. Get rid of my bubbles. Alright, well, I'll let these cure and we will start working on the wreath and getting all those twigs wrapped around each other. So I'll move this out of the way and get that set up. And then I'll be back to do that. Alright, creative people! My resin is dry. I'm really curious to see how these turned out. So let's release them from the mold. I wonder if my colors actually merged together or if they stayed separated. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Well, they're definitely thick. I definitely used a lot, so I'm not going to have any problems drilling a hole into that. That's going to be great. Huh. Micro powder didn't turn out that cool on that. I was expecting a little bit more. Let's see how the other ones turned out. I know this one I put the least amount of mica powder on, so... Oh, but... I'm going to have to get some white paper, because I see some little yellow flames coming up and through there, so they are popping out some colors. Ooh, that's kind of neat. Okay. Well, you can see the yellow that's coming through there. Right here is a big yellow strip. So that's cool. It didn't all just merge into one color. See little twists in there. So cool. Once I put a light in there, that's going to probably pop out a lot more. So moving on. My little pumpkin. Oh yeah, okay. That turned out a lot better. I like how it just hit those highlights. That's what I was going for. So it did what I was hoping for. I can't wait to see what they look like in light. The green didn't really stay though. I don't really see much of the green. Oh well, that's okay. Just for some little extra effect anyways. It was supposed to be subtle. That's what I was going for. I'll just pop all these out and then we'll look at them. Well, the green's a lot better on this one. It definitely gives that texture. That texture turned out perfect for the pumpkins. Oh, this maple leaf might be a little tricky with the points. Ooh, it's dangerous. It's stabbing me. See a lot of reds in there. We put a lot of red in this one. All right, let's get the white paper here. It's very, very orange, that's for sure. Ooh, you can see a lot of yellow in this one. A lot of yellow parts right in here. That green didn't really come out very great. That's too bad. Oh well. Thought I'd get a lot more darker red in that. Anyway. Well, I'll clean these up and then we'll drill holes in them and do lights. But in the meantime, I'm going to start working on the other part of the wreath today, which is bending all these sticks in place. So let's move this out of the way. We'll play with that later. And now I gotta figure out how I'm going to put all these sticks in here. See if they still bend. Oh yeah, I got some pliability still. I watched a couple videos, but most videos people just had pre-bought ones from like the dollar store or Michael's or a craft store. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not helping me. I want to make it from stick up. So I'm just going to kind of wing it. I also have some hemp string I'm going to use here just to kind of tie it in there and get it started. And then I can start weaving in more sticks. So if I'm doing this wrong and there's someone out there that actually makes these, please let me know, because I like to do it the right way, if there is such a thing. It's kind of a lost art. These used to be, you know, made traditionally every year during Christmas and whatnot. And yeah, these are pretty dry now. They've been sitting for a couple weeks. So I think I'm just going to start doing that and then tying them on. And then once I get a good base down, then I can start weaving in more of these other ones. This mugwort will be a lot more pliable in these little parts here. But these big stalks here are going to be pretty dried out. I had them hanging for a while, so. But that's okay. We'll work with it. I'm most likely going to be spray painting this black just to keep with the theme. I don't think I'm going to be keeping the colors, the original colors of the twigs. So why am I doing bows? I have to make everything pretty. I'm just going to double knot that in there. Just kind of keep it on there. And that's how I'm going to do it. Kind of keep going on like that. And that way when I spray paint it black, I can hide all my strings. It'll preserve the twigs longer too. They won't become so brittle. They'll have a protective coating on them so it doesn't turn to dust in the years to come. It's definitely a messy project. Messy's fun. Messy is fun. And these little ones are definitely still more malleable. So I'll use these instead. And yeah, I'll just keep building it up from there, I guess. Okay, I think we're on to something. We'll just keep wrapping. Keep on wrapping. I'm trying to use these stalks that don't have the seed pods on them first, just to get that base layer, because these are more decorative with the little seed pods. So I'll try to do those on the outside wrap. And I'll use the bergamot. Maybe not. They're pretty hard. They're gonna snap. I waited too long. That's okay, these smaller ones will bend. You know, if I can't use all these pieces, it's gonna be a pretty skinny looking wreath. Yeah, I almost should steam these. I think steaming is what makes this kind of work. Huh, well, it's getting somewhere. Oh wow, this is kind of sad. I want to get more into nature grouse, but I'm doing this, and maybe I should stick with resin. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Oh, God. Okay, that is a pretty sad looking reef. Pretty hurting. Oh my, this is terrible. Absolutely terrible. So this is definitely not my forte, but we're not done. So I have these and some of these. Okay, so hopefully I can bulk this up with these, but I'm gonna put my lights together first before I do that. And this is why I want to spray paint it black. I don't know if wrapping these around, it's gonna look nice with the green. See, it would with the orange, but once I get black in there, is that gonna look nice? No, because you can see all the imperfections. I think I'm gonna spray paint this black. I think that is the right course of action. And like I said, it's just gonna preserve the wood longer anyways, having it coated. So I think that is the right course of action. And then we'll bulk it up with some leaves and some lights. And hopefully they'll cover up how terrible I am at making these reefs. So that's pretty sad. Alrighty. So while I have my reef drying, so I spray painted it, I'm gonna drill my holes for my lights in my little resin dudes that I made here. This is the drill bit I need. It's the same width as these lights. That's what we use the caliper for, so that came in handy. But this is a little thick to go at right off the hop, and I don't want to crack my resin, so I'm going to drill a pilot hole that's going to be a little bit smaller. And then that way I shouldn't come across any issues. I do have a vise, and which would be the best way to be doing this. The trouble with that is this resin has been freshly poured. I poured this 3 days ago, so that means the resin is still technically soft. Resin is still technically soft for the first week. You don't want to be handling it, so I don't want to press this in a vise because that's going to leave the imprints. Even if I wrapped it in cloth and then styrofoam and yada yada and protected it, I'm still going to end up with imprints from whatever material is touching this because it's under a week. So I am going to struggle and do it the hard way. We're just going to do it off this table. I'm sure I'll be okay. It's not bad. We're just going in about length that minimum length I need is going to be 5.9 millimeters. Because I only want to do the bulb. I don't need to submerge all this in there. So we're just going to do that. And then that will sit outside. So 5.9 millimeters. 5.9 millimeters. Going to get a Sharpie and mark that. Little hack for you. That way I don't drill any farther into my resin than I need to. I'm just gonna go boop, right there. Just make a line all the way across on my drill bit. And then I know I don't need to go any farther than that. So I'm just gonna leave it on the table, hold it this way, and I'm gonna go in like this. I just might get off camera here. I don't think I have my camera set up that far. I'm just gonna go in the middle. All right, so there we go. It's super easy, so easy. There's all the little shavings. So I'm just gonna keep moving on with that, with the next 5. I'll do pilot holes with the smaller one, then I'll go in at the bigger drill bit, and then when I get my UV resin back, then I will secure these in with the lights. You don't want to go too fast, you'll melt the resin. It's actually warm in my hands when I'm picking up the shavings, so be careful. We are using metal. There we go. There we go. We'll go in with the bigger drill bits. And they just go in super easy because there's already a pilot hole, so it's like beep, beep. So you can just do it right here so you guys can see better. Whoop. Well, I got that pilot hole started. It's just getting it straight is a little tricky when you're doing it in your hands. Now, I will go get my Wreath and my UV resin, and we'll start wrapping this stuff up. It is time to decorate. So this is how the spray paint turned out. So it did, yeah, it's just black. It still looks terrible. So let's bulk this up and get decorating it. All right, so my top is here. I'm gonna start with the lights next and get these wrapped around. So I'm just gonna try and find the middle, which I think is this guy. And that's the middle where my hook is. So I'm just gonna go and start wrapping these around. I'm gonna try and stretch that out a bit too. Well, I can get a lot more wraps than I thought. Okay, that's perfect. So that came down to the bottom. And I can hide that in the back. That's great. So I think I'm gonna secure that now. Where is my hemp? Here it is here. Don't think I mentioned the reason why I'm using hemp. Hemp's just really awesome. You can use it in all kinds of things. It's incredibly tough. So, like, I'm just reefing on this. Like, it's so tough. You can use it in all kinds of textiles, clothes, plastics. Actually, Lego announced a few years ago they were switching to hemp plastics. Never did follow up with that, if they did or not. You guys know, let me know in the comments. I thought that was just pretty cool. Just renewable resource instead of making all these plastics that are not biodegradable and filling up the landfills, so on and so forth. I tried to be environmentally conscious and do my part. But yeah, it's just really tough for using in any kind of application like this. So those will hang on there. I'm just doing it loosely just to keep them in place while I keep adding more things. And I kind of want these dangling in the back. So I think I'll tie it here just to keep that in the back. All right, I'll do a couple more of those. So my Wreath is not very beefy, but we'll make it look beefy with adding more stuff. Like fluffy leaves and some resin lights. All right, there we go. I think I'm gonna wrap my black first and then orange, or maybe I should wrap them together. I think my black one's longer. Yeah, maybe I'll do the black, because I think, yeah, this one's definitely longer. All right, so again, I'm just gonna start at the top. Where's my middle piece? There it is. Here. And we're just gonna wrap around. Kind of bulk this up a bit. There's sparkles everywhere from this piece. There we go. Kind of getting those dead vibe looks now. Always what I'm going for. Does it look dead? No, make it more dead. So that is this one. And then we can play around with the leaves and kind of fluff them out a little bit. But I'm gonna get that orange wrapped in here first, and then we'll keep adding to that. Kind of want to wrap it. I'm gonna keep going the same direction. I'm gonna go opposite with this one. I'll wrap it the other way. There we go. Sorry, my dog's yelling at the magpies in the yard. He's babysitting bunnies right now. Everybody's playing outside. That looks nice with the orange. Yes! There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Nice and fluffy. It comes together. It all comes together. It ended up exactly where the other one ended. Let's kind of fluff these guys out a bit. Uncrinkle our leaves. The leaves out in the front and bulk those guys up. It's looking like something. It's looking like something. It's getting better. All right. I'm gonna secure those guys in. Oh, I'm gonna add some of these guys. But before I add these, I think what I want to do is add these guys. So, let's see here. Let's just play around with it and see how it looks. Put that guy there. Not gonna secure them in yet. I just want to see what these look like. Another pumpkin over here. Another pumpkin over here. I don't know if any of you are seeing where I'm going with this, but if you are, kudos to you. All right, I think they'll be all right. Let's get a little UV resin on these guys. Let's put a little UV resin in here. Just gonna put a little dab in there. In case you have to change the bulb out, it won't be so hard to get out. And I'm just gonna shove that in there, like so, and away we go. Perfect. That worked beautifully, and that is on there now forever. Next, these fit in there perfect. Just so perfect. You don't really need a lot of this either. All right, where were we going? Was it this one? We got all my resin, leaves, and pumpkins on there. They are secure. So now all I'm gonna do is just try and fill in some of these blank spots. Try and lay these all out as if it was on the wall and see how that looks. Because I got all these I can weave in there to fill those up. That's why I bought these. They're on little wires so we can twist them around and kind of hide stuff. So like this spot here I think would be a good spot. Just take these black leaves, kind of bush them up to the front here. And then I'm just going to go and just wrap this around. Just kind of fill up that space. Did I make that worse? Huh. Maybe this is easier if it was on the wall. Well, it's kind of filling out. Sometimes you just gotta step back and take a look at it. It's up close is not looking all that great, is it? Ay. Alright, this one's pretty red. Oh, I got some yellows in here. And some oranges. Okay. Alright, I think we need... I don't want to lose my lights. Put a red guy in here. It'll help wind up my lights a little tighter too over the hemp. The wire's definitely a lot easier to work with. You're getting stuff where you want it, that's for sure. Alright. I think I need to put some on the outside orangey one like this guy. Nope, let's do this guy over here. Let's bulk up this back side a little bit, I think. It's pretty bushy here. Let's see what it's this side. Maybe on the bottom here. Let's go with the little red guy down here. All right. That's a little beefier. It's a little bit beefier. Fluff up our leaves. Fluff our leaves. Okay. Let's find somewhere to hang this and see what it looks like lit up. All pretty. That is what it looks like. I hung it up on the back of my bathroom door because I didn't have any hooks available. But that is all lit up. So that's what the little pumpkin looks like. It's a little hard to see. I got a lot of warm colors of that wood back there. But they turned out really cute. There's that guy there. Where's the other guy? Oh, he's hiding back here. So I think it turned out pretty good for my first wreath. It's fluffy enough. Where's my maple leaf? He's hiding. I think it looks better in the dark, that's for sure. Don't really see the details or the different colors in the resin, unfortunately. I did use red, orange, and yellow, but that's okay. I just wanted to see if it'd show up or not. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cute. Just in time for Halloween. I love it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit that subscribe button for me if you enjoyed this video. Even if you didn't enjoy this video, subscribe anyways. Really helps me get my content out there. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay creative and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.